It's time for On Point with Julian Phillips.
In the 21st century, information is coming to us at an alarming pace. There's so many platforms. There's a digital platform. There's the web, the World Wide Web, even the dark web. We've got all sorts of cable news stations. We've got radio stations. It's just amazing how information comes at us in many, many ways. The question is, are we getting the information that we can actually trust? We are such a divided nation these days, and it's not just here in the United States, and people have so many opinions. It's just absolutely amazing. And they're basing this off of information that they get. But the question is the information that they are getting, is the information that you and I are getting correct information? I've got 4 things I just want you to ponder over here. And this is not to tell you what to think or how to think, but just to kind of understand that, if you have information, maybe you need to check to see whether it is right or not. Test it. There's a woman at my health club who had COVID. Thank God she survived it. And I was on the spin bike, and I overheard her talking to one of the other people in the gym, talking about, well, I'm not taking that vaccine and this and that. And my friends, her mother or somebody died, and they said it was COVID, but she thinks it was from Alzheimer's. So she's contesting that. And she went on and on to say, well, the media, is telling us, about all these people that passed away. So she actually came up and, I really didn't want to actually interject in the conversation, but I said, I just got to say one thing. I'm not telling you what to think or believe, but in this particular case, as many problems I have with the media, it's not the media that's giving us the information of the numbers. It's the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, and media is just reporting that information. And then the conversation went on and on. Well, regardless of that may be true, but, I don't like anybody telling me what to do or how many people I can have in my house. That's like communism. And I'm like, okay, this woman has never been to a communist country. I've been to 2 of them. I've been to China. I've been to Cuba. And I just want to, just preface this by saying, not that it matters. I'm a stone cold capitalist. I am. And I love democracy. So I'm not promoting communism. I just want to get that clear. But I said to her, well, the communism is a form of government. I've been to a couple of communist countries, and nobody there was telling people how many people they can have in their house or how many people can gather. It's a form of government, just like, we live in a form of government, a democracy. Silence. Where did she get this information from? She's hearing communism and socialism and all this, but does she really know that? Do many people know what socialism really is or what communism really is? They're just blowing this stuff all over the place like they have some kind of knowledge of it. And they're getting this information from somewhere. But again, is the information they're getting correct? Again, I'm not telling them what to think. Another situation, I'm just overcoming back surgery, and I was at my physical therapist, and I'm on one table, and there's a woman on the next, and she's being attended to by this physical therapist. And he's saying to her, he says, in theory, this stretch that I'm giving you, this movement I'm giving you should work in theory. It's fine. Well, out of nowhere, he comes over to me and stands in front of me, and I guess he thought he was saying something particularly profound. And he says, well, in theory, communism was supposed to work, but we knew what happened there. And I'm like looking at him, and I really didn't say anything to him. I'm a trained analyst, a journalist. What? Well, let's see. Communism didn't work. Well, the second largest economy in the world is China. Russia ranks number 11. Vietnam, where we lost nearly 60,000 men and women in a war there, communism is doing actually rather well. In Cuba, things are not so bad. The sanctions are the things that are really hurting the people there. And in all these countries, they have universal health care. So they're doing well with that. You don't hear anything about mass shootings. So I mentioned that to another friend of mine over dinner the other night. Yeah, well, they're oppressing the people. They have have a lot of human rights issues. And I said, well, so do we. We've been dealing with the aftermath of slavery for over 200 years or whatever. What are you talking about? We have human rights issues too. Now, this is not to say I'd still prefer democracy over communism for me and what I believe in, but where are you getting this information from? And how are you digesting all this stuff? Point number 3, Jake Beckett. He is a former NFL player with the New England Patriots, now an Army Ranger, and he was on, of course, Fox and Friends. And they were talking to him about LeBron James's recent rants about anti-cop. LeBron James has never said he was anti-cop, number one. And this whole shooting in Columbus, Ohio, which is still under investigation. But Jay comes out and says, well, the military in sports transcends politics and race. Really? So, Jake, you don't know your own history. Well, let's talk about the military. We need not go too far back when the military in our country was segregated. Blacks and whites could not fight together. Black soldiers just endured all sorts of untold hardships and challenges in a segregated military. I mean, there was even an incident in the United States where some soldiers were court-martialed, and the worst happened after that. Wow, we're also facing a military now where apparently QAnon is growing. What in the world are you talking about? Sports? Well, I mean, the Olympics. Let's go back to 1936 in Berlin, when Adolf Hitler was promoting the superior Aryan race over everybody else. And of course, it took Jesse Owens to totally, dismantle and deflate that. Politics, race, military, and sports. I gotta laugh at this. Military and sports have never transcended race and politics. Information. Where are you getting it from? Information, shapes our worldview, how we look at the world, how we see things, how we judge things and situations and people. But I guess the question is, where are you getting your information from? Have you tested it? Are you saying things that could, actually make you look either intelligent or stupid? I hate to use that word, but my God. And people out here have so many opinions who are sincere, but they may be sincerely wrong. And that brings me back to the last thing on information. A friend of mine just passed away this past week. I'm heartbroken, and I'm somewhat angry. Why? Because he was one of my spiritual leaders, and I miss him. He did not believe in the vaccine. And he said many times that, he didn't believe in it. And he believed in this theory based upon information that he was getting, information that heat kills the virus. So he was using a hair blower, to blow heat up his nose. Okay. So I had gotten my first shot. It was about a week into my first shot of the vaccine, and he's sending information to me about, the negative effects of the vaccine and this and that. And I said, I just got my first shot last week. So the horse is already out of the gate for me. Maybe perhaps you are right, but sending me this information now does me absolutely no good. Stop sending it, please. And his response was, as you wish, okay. He died of COVID. Went quick. Was his information wrong? I don't know, but I would tend to think that if he had his shots, he still might be here. Might. Do we all have all the answers? No, but I think he still might be here. A shot over a hairdryer, blowing hot air up your nose. Information. It's important that whatever you think that you're getting, check it out. Even, I tell folks who watch On Point, just don't take my word for it. Test it. I have to constantly test. Sometimes I come back and I have to say, oh, look, I made a mistake, because I'm constantly checking and testing to see, but not go blindly into something and be so passionate and sincere about it that you're not willing to hear and see anything else. Times are so critical right now as we move forward through this year, as we still are challenged by the vaccine, as we still are challenged by police reform, or the lack thereof, immigration, our foreign policy being pulled out of Afghanistan, whatever it may be, race relations. There's so many things. And everybody has an opinion based upon what they hear and what they see. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm not here, and the purpose of On Point is not to tell you what to think. But On Point is designed to make you look at what you're thinking. Check it out and test it to make sure if what you're thinking and the information that you're getting is correct. It may put you on the right or the left side of things. But if you don't check it, and you're not willing to check it, and you're hostile to somebody else's beliefs or thinking without getting some sort of understanding, then where are you in your understanding? And where are we as a people, as a human race, dealing with the human condition and every aspect of it? Where do we stand? And where does that point us towards the future? Information. Check it. Test it. Be on point with what you believe based upon checking that information. We're going to continue on this as we go on from time to time on Point, but I think it's very important so we can engage in a dialogue as human beings, as people who should love one another and at least understand or love, even though we might not disagree, but the information that you have be based on some semblance of fact. There's a lot going on in the next week and months, and so I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about when I see you next week. Take care.